My name is Vanessa Mitchell, and at 42, I'm finally starting to feel like myself again after divorcing that horrible man, Richard. He left me for his 25-year-old secretary. How cliché, right? But looking in the mirror now, I can see why I shouldn't waste any more tears on him. My dark brown hair still falls in soft waves past my shoulders, and regular yoga keeps my 5'7" frame toned in all the right places. Sure, my 36D curves aren't quite as perky as they used to be, but they still draw plenty of appreciative glances. The real challenge these days isn't my appearance. It's living under the same roof as my increasingly rebellious 19-year-old daughter, Lily. She's home from college for the summer, and while I love her desperately, the tension between us is becoming unbearable. I see so much of myself in her. That same willowy build, those big brown eyes, the kind of natural beauty that turns heads. But lately there's this edge to our interactions, this crackling energy that makes me uncertain and unsettled. Last night marked a turning point in our relationship. The sound of Lily's muffled sobs drew me to her room past midnight. Finding her there, curled up and vulnerable, stirred something deep within my maternal instincts. But there was something different now. She wasn't my little girl anymore, but a young woman carrying her own emotional weight. "I hate seeing you like this, Mom," she whispered through tears. "You're so strong, but you let him break you down. It hurts to watch." Yeah. Her words penetrated the walls I'd built around my heart since the divorce. I sat beside her, and for the first time in months, really looked at my daughter. She'd grown into such a beautiful, compassionate soul, while I was lost in my own pain. "When did you become so wise?" I asked softly, brushing her hair back from her face. She caught my hand, holding it against her cheek. "I learned from watching you, Mom. Even when things were awful, you never gave up. You just forgot how amazing you are somewhere along the way." The vulnerability in her eyes mirrored my own. We'd both been so lonely, each trying to protect the other from our pain. Without words, we found ourselves embracing, tears flowing freely between us. The barriers of mother and daughter seemed to blur, replaced by a deeper understanding. "Remember when I was little," Lily murmured, "and you used to tell me that love comes in many forms? I think I understand that better now." That night, something shifted between us. Not in a physical way, but in our souls. The empty spaces left by betrayal and loss began to fill with a different kind of love, one built on mutual healing and understanding. We talked until dawn, sharing secrets, fears, and hopes we'd never dared voice before. In those quiet hours, I rediscovered not just my daughter, but parts of myself I thought were lost forever. Our relationship transformed into something deeper than just mother and daughter. We became each other's strength, confidants, and safe harbor in the storm of life. Saturday dawned differently. Everything felt charged with new energy after our emotional night. I was making breakfast when Lily bounced into the kitchen, still in her sleep shorts and tank top, her chestnut hair tousled from sleep. "Mom, can I have Emma and Jade over tonight, like old times?" Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "We haven't had a proper sleepover since before college." I nearly choked on my coffee remembering her friends. Emma and Jade had practically lived at our house through high school, but seeing them now as young women was different. Emma had grown into all 5'9" of gorgeous curves, that impossible Jessica Rabbit figure topped with flame-red hair that tumbled past her shoulders. Her volleyball scholarships made sense given how toned her legs were, always showcased in those tiny shorts. Then there was Jade, barely 5'2", but blessed with the kind of hourglass figure that belonged in a pinup calendar. Her delicate Asian features contrasted beautifully with her bombshell body. "Sure, honey," I managed, trying not to stare as Lily stretched, her own developing figure reminding me so much of myself at that age. Her tank top rode up, exposing her flat stomach. "You know they're always welcome." Throughout the day, I found myself oddly nervous about their arrival. I changed outfits 3 times before settling on yoga pants and a loose sweater that still showed off my figure. By 7, the doorbell rang. Emma sauntered in first, all confident curves and high-waisted yoga pants that left nothing to imagination. Her DD curves strained against a cropped tank, drawing eyes naturally to her tiny waist. Her red hair was swept up in a messy bun, tendrils framing her face. "Mrs. M!" she squealed, wrapping me in a hug that pressed all those soft curves against me. "God, you look amazing! Richard was such an idiot!" Jade followed, somehow making tiny sleep shorts and an oversized tee look elegant. The shirt kept slipping off one smooth shoulder, revealing delicate collarbones. Her black hair fell in a straight curtain to her waist, swaying as she moved. "We've missed our sleepovers here," she said softly, her dark eyes warm as she hugged me too. I watched them head upstairs, couldn't help noticing how their hips swayed, the way Jade's shorts rode up with each step. Even Lily seemed different now, more aware of her body as she led her friends to her room. Their giggles floated down the stairs, reminding me of simpler times. "Mom," Lily called down. "We're going to order pizza. Want to join us for dinner?" I hesitated. Usually I gave them space during sleepovers, but something felt different tonight. The house had been too quiet lately. "Sure, sweetie," I called back. "Let me know when it arrives." Going up to change into my own sleepwear, I caught sight of myself in the mirror. At 42, I still turned heads. My yoga-toned body filled out my silk cami and shorts nicely. Running my hands through my dark waves, I smiled. Maybe tonight would be fun. A girls' night was exactly what I needed. The pizza arrived as I was heading back downstairs. Opening Lily's door, I found them sprawled across her bed and floor, all long legs and curves in various states of undress. Emma had shed her tank for a sports bra. Jade's shirt had slipped even further off her shoulder, and Lily, my breath caught seeing her in just an oversized tee and panties, her legs seeming endless. "Pizza's here, girls," I announced, setting it down on Lily's desk. Emma rolled onto her stomach, reaching for a slice, her sports bra struggling to contain her as she moved. "God, Mrs. M, you have to tell us your workout routine," Jade said, crossing her legs. "You look better than most girls our age." I settled onto Lily's reading chair, trying to be casual. "Just yoga and running, nothing special." "Speaking of looking good," Lily piped up, "Tell Mom about Sarah, the whole drama." Emma's face flushed almost as red as her hair. "Ugh, that whole mess. Well, Mrs. M, turns out my boyfriend was cheating with some freshmen. But the real plot twist?" She took a bite of pizza, gathering courage. "I ended up falling for my roommate Sarah instead. Turns out I'm way more into women." The room felt warmer suddenly. Emma's green eyes met mine directly. "Sarah helped me realize a lot about myself. Girls just get it, you know? The emotional connection, the softness, knowing exactly how to touch." She trailed off, blushing deeper. "Em's been way happier since coming out," Lily added, shooting me a look I couldn't quite read. "Sarah treats her like a queen." "The passion is insane too," Emma blurted, then covered her mouth. "Sorry, Mrs. M, too much information." I waved it off, trying to ignore how my pulse had quickened. "I'm glad you're happy, Emma, and please, call me Vanessa. You girls are too old for Mrs. M now." "What about you, Vanessa?" Jade asked softly. "Dating again after Richard?" "Mom's been too busy being sad," Lily interjected, moving to sit near my feet. Her hand rested on my knee. "But that's changing now, right, Mom?" "Dating? I haven't even thought about it," I admitted, acutely aware of Lily's hand on my knee. The divorce was complicated. Emma sat up, her sports bra shifting dangerously. "You should try women, Vanessa. Seriously. No drama, no mind games. Just pure connection." Her eyes lingered on me a moment too long. "Sarah taught me that sometimes what you need has been right in front of you all along." Jade giggled, stretching out like a cat. "Remember that time in junior year when we played Truth or Dare and Emma kissed me? Should have known then." "Oh God," Emma groaned, but she was smiling. "I was so obvious, wasn't I? Always wanting to practice kissing, always suggesting we change clothes together." Lily's fingers traced small circles on my knee. Mom needs someone gentle for her first time back in the dating pool. Someone who really understands her. The air felt thick with unspoken possibilities. I stood up abruptly, gathering the empty pizza box. Well, girls, I should let you have your sleepover. I'm just down the hall if you need anything. Thanks, Mom. Lily stood too, hugging me tight. I could feel her braless beneath her t-shirt. Maybe stay for face masks later? We'll see, honey. I headed for the door, feeling 3 pairs of eyes on me. Night, Vanessa, Emma called after me, her voice honey-sweet. Sweet dreams. I closed the door behind me, leaning against it for a moment. Through the wood, I could hear them giggling, voices dropping to whispers. The sound of bodies shifting on the bed, more laughter. Shh, Em, she'll hear you. What? I'm just saying your mom is hot. Girls, upstairs. Jade's voice, followed by the sound of them scrambling up to Lily's loft bed. I forced myself to walk away, but their whispered conversations followed me down the hall. What exactly were they planning up there? And why did part of me want to find out? I lay in bed, staring at my ceiling, the sounds from Lily's room floating down the hallway. Giggles, whispers, the occasional gasp. The walls in our house were thin, too thin. I could hear snippets that made my heart race. Have you ever... Emma's voice, followed by more giggling. Shh, show us. That was Jade. Like this? Lily's voice now, breathier than usual. I should have put in earbuds, should have drowned them out. Instead, I found myself straining to hear more. The rustling of sheets, soft sighs, occasional squeaks from the loft bed. The temperature in my room seemed to rise with each passing minute. A particularly loud gasp made me sit up. Should I check on them? They were adults now, but still. Padding down the hallway in my silk cami, I paused outside Lily's door. The whispers grew more urgent. Wait, did you hear something? Jade asked. It's just Mom, Lily replied softly. She's probably checking on us. Should we invite her in? Emma's suggestion made my breath catch. Em! Lily scolded, but there was something in her tone. I knocked softly. Everything okay in there, girls? 3 voices answered too quickly. We're fine! More giggling, then Lily called out, Just having girl talk, Mom. Come join us if you want. My hand rested on the doorknob. Turn it or walk away. The choice seemed bigger than just this moment. Through the door, I could hear them shifting around, waiting for my decision. With trembling fingers, I turned the knob. The room was dimly lit by fairy lights strung across the loft bed. 3 silhouettes shifted above, barely visible in the soft glow. Mom! Lily's voice was breathy. We're up here! Come join our chat! I climbed the loft ladder slowly, my silk cami riding up. Emma's sharp intake of breath was audible. They'd made a nest of blankets and pillows, all 3 curled together like kittens. Emma's red hair spilled across Lily's lap, while Jade was pressed against my daughter's side. We were just talking about first kisses, Jade said innocently, but her dark eyes sparkled with something else. And other firsts. Emma was telling us about Sarah, Lily added, her fingers absently stroking Emma's hair. About how different it is, with a woman. The air felt electric. Emma sat up slowly, her sports bra highlighting every curve. It's all about intuition, she murmured, knowing exactly what another woman needs. Show us, Jade whispered, then blushed furiously. I mean, tell us more. My heart thundered. Lily's hand found mine in the dim light, squeezing gently. Mom needs to learn too, she said softly. After Dad. Emma moved closer, her warmth radiating. Sometimes the best teachers are right in front of us, she breathed. The fairy lights cast shadows that danced across soft skin and curved silhouettes. 4 women, perched on the edge of something dangerous and thrilling. Who would make the first move? The fairy lights flickered as a breeze drifted through the window. Emma moved first, her confidence evident in every graceful motion. Vanessa, she whispered, let us show you what real love feels like. What happened next was like a beautiful dance, soft touches, whispered encouragements, bodies moving in perfect harmony. The night became a blur of sensations: silk against skin, gentle sighs, the scent of jasmine from Jade's hair, Emma's experienced guidance, and Lily's loving support. We explored boundaries that dissolved like morning mist, discovering new ways to express love and desire. Each touch was a revelation, each kiss a promise. The fairy lights cast everything in a dreamlike glow, making it feel almost surreal. Hours passed like minutes. We shared secrets, fears, and desires. Emma taught us things about ourselves we never knew. Jade's natural grace made everything feel like art. And Lily, my beautiful daughter, showed me a depth of connection I never thought possible. By the time dawn's first light crept through the window, we'd crossed lines that could never be uncrossed. But somehow, it felt right. Natural. Like pieces of a puzzle finally clicking into place. "Mom," Lily murmured as the others dozed. "Are you okay?" I pulled her close, kissing her forehead. "Better than okay, baby. I feel alive." The morning sun would bring reality back, but for now, in this magical space between night and day, everything was perfect. 4 souls intertwined, healing each other in ways words couldn't express. Dawn broke softly through the window. My eyes fluttered open to an unfamiliar perspective. Lily's loft bed, the fairy lights still twinkling faintly. The first thing I noticed was the rhythmic movement under the plush duvet. 2 distinct shapes moving in synchronized motion. Emma's red hair was visible, spilled across a pillow, her face flushed and eyes closed. Jade was nowhere to be seen, but the shifting beneath the covers told its own story. Small gasps and whispers filled the morning air. "Shh," I heard Lily whisper. "Don't wake Mom." Too late. I was already aware of everything. The gentle rocking, the muffled sounds, the way Emma bit her lip. The blanket created waves like an ocean tide, rising and falling in a steady rhythm. I closed my eyes again, pretending to sleep while my pulse raced. The movements grew more urgent, the whispers more intense. Through barely open lids, I watched this secret morning dance unfold. The air was thick with unspoken desires, as sunlight painted patterns across bare shoulders and tousled hair. Time seemed to stand still in this intimate moment, where boundaries blurred like watercolors. The gentle rhythm increased as my breath quickened. I kept my eyes mostly closed, watching through my lashes as the scene unfolded. Emma's fingers clutched the sheets, her back arching slightly. "Just like that," she breathed, barely audible. The shapes under the duvet shifted. Lily's dark hair appeared briefly before disappearing again. Jade must have been beside her, given the synchronized movements. Small whimpers and gasps filled the morning air. My body tingled with awakened desires as I watched Emma's face contort in pleasure. Her green eyes suddenly flew open, meeting mine. A knowing smile spread across her flushed face. "Morning, Vanessa," she purred, voice husky. "Sleep well?" The movement beneath the covers paused. Lily's head popped up, hair delightfully mussed. "Mom, we thought you were still sleeping." Jade emerged too, looking like a rumpled angel. Her cheeks were pink, lips swollen. "We were just showing each other some morning appreciation," Emma finished, stretching languidly. The sheet slipped, revealing more skin. The air crackled with tension as 4 sets of eyes met. What happened next would change everything. I propped myself up on one elbow, heart racing. "Don't stop on my account," I murmured, surprising myself with my boldness. Emma's smile turned wicked as she reached for me. "Join us," she whispered, her fingers trailing fire across my skin. "We've only just begun exploring." Jade's delicate hands emerged from the covers, followed by her lithe body as she crawled toward me. Her dark eyes held promises of pleasure. "Let us show you everything we learned last night." Lily watched with hooded eyes as her friends moved closer to me. The morning sun painted golden streaks across bare skin and tousled hair. The air grew thick with anticipation. Emma's experienced touch guided me while Jade's soft lips found sensitive spots. My daughter's encouraging whispers spurred us on as we lost ourselves in a tangle of limbs and desires. The fairy lights still twinkled above, witness to our morning revelation. 4 women discovering new depths of pleasure and connection as sunlight streamed through gauzy curtains. The loft bed creaked gently as our movements grew more urgent. Soft moans and whimpers filled the morning air, building to a crescendo. Emma's breathy gasps mixed with Jade's higher-pitched sighs. The sound of skin on silk sheets, bodies moving in perfect rhythm. "Oh, God," Emma's voice trembled. "Shh," Lily whispered. "Don't stop," I heard Jade plead. The fairy lights swayed as the bed rocked. Then suddenly, a chorus of muffled cries, bodies tensing and arching. Time seemed to freeze as waves of pleasure crashed through us all. Eventually, we collapsed into a tangle of sweaty limbs and satisfied sighs. Later, we made our way downstairs, all wearing borrowed silk robes. The kitchen felt different, charged with new energy. I started the coffee while the girls perched on bar stools, trading secret smiles. "Pancakes?" I offered, trying to act normal despite the electricity still crackling between us. "Yes, please," Emma purred, stretching like a satisfied cat. Her robe slipped off one shoulder. Jade helped gather ingredients, her petite form brushing against me as she reached for bowls. Lily watched us all with knowing eyes, a small smile playing on her lips. The girls gathered their things slowly, lingering touches and meaningful glances filling the air. Emma hugged me last, pressing close. "Thank you for everything, Vanessa," she whispered. "Call me anytime." After they left, Lily and I sat at the kitchen counter, both lost in thought. The house felt emptier somehow. "Mom?" Lily broke the silence. "Are you okay? About everything?" I sipped my coffee, considering. It was incredible, healing even. But honey, I think I need to try dating again, properly. "You mean men?" Lily asked, eyes searching mine. "Yes, there's this guy at work, Michael. He's been asking me for coffee for weeks." I smiled, remembering his warm brown eyes and gentle manner. "He's nothing like your father. Kind, attentive." "But after last night," Lily trailed off, biting her lip. "Last night was beautiful. But it was about healing, about rediscovering myself." I touched her hand. "Michael makes me laugh. He leaves coffee on my desk just how I like it. Maybe it's time." "Just promise me something?" Lily squeezed my hand. "Don't forget what you learned about yourself, about pleasure, about connection." "Never," I whispered, memories of soft skin and gentle touches flooding back. "But life goes on, sweetie. And Michael, he could be something real." Monday morning felt different. I adjusted my pencil skirt, smoothing my blouse as I entered the office. Michael was already there, 2 coffee cups on his desk. "Rough weekend?" He smiled, bringing me my usual vanilla latte. At 45, he carried himself with quiet confidence. Salt and pepper hair, broad shoulders filling out his tailored shirt, sleeves rolled to expose strong forearms. "You could say that," I replied, accepting the coffee. Our fingers brushed, sending tingles up my arm. After the weekend's adventures, even this small touch felt electric. "Listen," he leaned against my desk, voice low. "I know you've been through a lot with the divorce, but I'd love to take you to dinner. Properly." I looked up at him, really looked. The kind crinkles around his eyes, the way his shirt stretched across his chest, how he always smelled of sandalwood and coffee. So different from the soft curves and floral scents of the weekend. "Actually," I smiled, "I'd like that." His face lit up. "Tonight? I know this little Italian place." At dinner, Michael was the perfect gentleman. He pulled out my chair, ordered excellent wine, and actually listened when I spoke. His hand found mine across the table. "You seem different today," he noted. "More confident." I thought of Emma's lessons in pleasure, of Jade's delicate touch, of my daughter's loving support. Let's just say I had some revelations this weekend. His thumb traced circles on my palm. Tell me more? Some things are better kept mysterious, I teased, enjoying how his eyes darkened. The wine, the candlelight, his masculine presence, it was intoxicating in a completely different way from the weekend. When he kissed me goodnight outside the restaurant, it was firm but gentle. His stubble scratched my chin as his hands cupped my face. "Let me take you out again," he whispered against my lips. I nodded, my body responding to his closeness. This was what I needed, something real, solid, grounding after the ethereal experience of the weekend. But as I drove home, I couldn't help remembering soft curves and fairy lights, wondering if I could ever truly forget. Michael's kisses grew bolder over our next few dates. By Friday, he had me pressed against my car in the office parking garage, his body firm against mine. So different from the softness I'd experienced before, all hard planes and masculine energy. "Come over tomorrow," he murmured against my neck. "I'll cook for you." His apartment was exactly what I expected. Modern, masculine, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. The kitchen smelled of garlic and wine as he moved confidently around, sleeves rolled up, occasionally pulling me close for lingering kisses. "You're distracting," he growled playfully when I wrapped my arms around him from behind. Dinner was forgotten as we moved to his leather couch. His strong hands explored carefully, reverently, as if mapping every curve. I couldn't help comparing his confident touch versus Emma's knowing caresses, his demanding kisses versus Jade's gentle ones. "You're somewhere else," he whispered, pulling back to study my face. "Tell me what you need." I thought of fairy lights and silk sheets, of soft sighs and delicate touches, then looked at his strong jaw, broad shoulders, the way his eyes darkened with desire. "I need you to show me everything," I breathed. He took his time, alternating between gentle and commanding. The city lights sparkled through his windows as clothes were shed as we discovered each other. His masculine scent surrounded me, his strength both thrilling and grounding. The city lights twinkled through Michael's windows as we lay tangled in his sheets. His fingers traced lazy patterns on my bare shoulder while I checked my messages. "Missing our fairy lights?" Emma. "Hope you're happy, Mom." Lily. Something stirred in me, a desire to merge these two worlds. "Come to mine tomorrow?" I whispered to Michael. "I'll cook for you this time." His lips found my neck. I'd love that. What I didn't expect was Lily's text the next afternoon. "Mom, girls are coming over tonight. Emma and Jade already on their way. Hope that's cool?" My pulse quickened. Too late to cancel either plan. The thought of them all under one roof sent shivers down my spine. I spent the evening preparing, candles, wine, wearing that black dress that made Michael's eyes darken. The doorbell rang at 8. "Stunning," he murmured, pulling me close. His cologne mixed with the scent of the roses he brought. Then came the giggles from upstairs. Emma appeared first, wearing barely their pajamas. Her eyes widened, then sparked with mischief. "Well, well," she purred. "Vanessa, you've been holding out on us." Jade and Lily emerged behind her. The air crackled with electricity as they took in the scene. Michael's hand on my waist, my dress, the romantic setup. "Girls," I managed, "this is Michael." Emma's gaze raked over him appreciatively. "Lucky Mom," she whispered, just loud enough for me to hear. "We'll stay upstairs," Lily promised, but her tone held something more. "Have fun." As they retreated, I caught Emma's backward glance. She bit her lip, eyes promising. What? The house hummed with possibility. Knowing whispers above, Michael's innocent attention below. Over dinner, Michael and I shared wine and stories. His hand kept finding mine across the table, thumb tracing circles on my palm. From upstairs came occasional muffled laughter, the creak of Lily's loft bed. "Your daughter and her friends seem close," he observed, pouring more wine. I managed, distracted by a particularly loud giggle. They've known each other forever. Michael moved closer on the couch, his arm sliding around me. But both our attention kept drifting to the sounds above. Whispers, soft sighs, the rhythmic squeak of bed springs. "They're very energetic," he murmured against my neck, his breath hot. I shifted in his arms, remembering exactly what those sounds meant. They're young. Everything's exciting at that age. A particularly breathy moan filtered down. Michael's hand tightened on my waist. Sounds like they're having quite the sleepover. More giggles, then Emma's distinctive voice. "Shh, they'll hear us." I felt Michael's reaction, saw his pupils dilate. The energy in the room shifted as we sat there, listening to the increasingly urgent sounds from above. His kisses grew deeper, hungrier. "Maybe we should make some noise of our own," he suggested, voice rough. The house filled with a symphony of pleasure. Young sighs from above mixing with our more mature appreciation below. Two very different experiences unfolding under one roof, connected by desire. Dawn painted the room in soft hues as I stirred, feeling Michael's strong arm around my waist. The house was quiet except for faint movements from upstairs. Coffee?" Michael murmured, already sliding out of bed. He pulled on his pants from last night, leaving his chest bare as he headed to the kitchen. I watched him go, admiring how at home he seemed. Upstairs, giggles started floating down. I heard Lily's voice. "Shh, they'll hear us getting up." Michael was working magic with the coffee maker when 3 slightly disheveled girls appeared. Emma's crop top had slipped off one shoulder, Jade's hair was adorably mussed, and Lily looked thoroughly pleased with herself. "Something smells amazing," Lily said, eyeing both the coffee and Michael's shirtless form. "Your mom's new friend knows his way around a kitchen," Emma purred, giving me a meaningful look. "Among other things, I'm sure." Michael started making French toast, seemingly oblivious to the charged undercurrent. The girls perched at the counter, trading secret smiles. Months flowed by. Michael practically moved in, his presence becoming as natural as breathing. The girls' sleepovers grew less frequent as college life took over. Then Lily met James in her art history class. "He's different," she told me one evening, curled up in her old bed. The fairy lights still twinkled above. "He makes me feel safe, understood, but excited too." "Like Michael does for me?" I asked softly. "Exactly." She paused. "You know, that weekend, with Emma and Jade, it taught me so much about love, about knowing myself." James started coming around more. He was tall, artistic, with gentle hands and an old soul. He looked at Lily like she was precious art. At a summer barbecue, I caught Emma watching them together. "Remember when we helped her discover what real pleasure felt like?" she whispered. "Now look at her. She won't settle for less." Jade, now dating a girl from her dance company, nodded. We all learned something that weekend. Later that night, Michael held me close. "Your daughter seems happy," he observed. "We all are," I replied, thinking of fairy lights and new beginnings. Sometimes you have to explore different kinds of love to find your way home.